I'd like to thank the EPA for hosting this conference, and this is the second year that LCLAA, the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement, has been invited to speak, so it's a real honor. Thank you. You know, we were asked to sort of prepare ourselves for three different looks at the issue of climate change and the green economy and moving Latinos to being at the table in this new green economy. And you know, the questions were, what are the challenges that are facing Latinos as we learn more about the green economy, and how can our community embrace it? So I'm going to kind of start there, but sort of wanted to just mention LCLAA, the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement. We are a labor organization that represents the interests of 1.7 million Latino trade unionists in the United States and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. But I'm also wearing another hat, and the other hat is as the vice chair of the NLCCC, the National Latino Coalition on Climate Change, which was started in 2007 by LCLAA, the National Puerto Rican Coalition, NHEC, the National Hispanic Environment Council. And I'd also like to acknowledge our chair, Rafael Fantausi, from the Puerto Rican National Puerto Rican Coalition here, and thank him for his leadership. You know, when we're talking about some of these issues around the environment, and we're wondering about how engaged our community is, whether we really care, you know, does our community, are we picking up on the importance of this? And I think that there's been some media reports, speculations that our community isn't that engaged, but I think that there's some empirical data, some proof, some studies that have been done that show, yes, in fact, our community does care about this and we do understand it, but we need to get more of the information to our community. So I think that a lot of the barriers that we're talking about are language barriers, educational attainment, economic feasibility, and honestly, let's be very honest with ourselves, a little bit of distrust of the government, right? I think that a couple of things I want to point out. The Sierra Club in 2008 did a wonderful study, and they found that 83% of Latinos considered energy and environmental issues as having a significant effect on their lives, the quality of lives and lives of their family. The fear of the consequences of global warming is highest among immigrant and Spanish-dominant voters. Polluted air and water is the other environmental issue that is mentioned by a substantial percentage. So I think that we're seeing that our community recognizes that there's a problem, and I want to thank the Sierra Club for doing that seminal study. One of the other things that I want to talk about is educational attainment. I think that this gets at the heart of the problem here. Right now, Latinos with a college degree are twice as likely to be informed about environmental issues and the need to change behavior, spending patterns, lifestyle choices, and things like the weatherization that need to happen, as well as trying to move themselves into a new economy. And we know right now that 10% of our population has a bachelor's degree. So if half of our community that is educated understands the importance of it, but only 10% of our community has a bachelor's degree, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done on this educational front. So the other thing that I think that we need to do is we can't separate a lot of the economic, educational, and social aspects of this argument. I think that they're all interrelated, and I think that the other thing that we also would do a disservice to ourselves and our community if we did not recognize is that how the healthcare debate impacts this discussion too, because I think that a lot of our families get the message that instead of taking this global warming crisis that seems like how hard to get your arms around this, right? It's so esoteric. But if you frame it in terms of economy, if you frame it in terms of healthcare for our families, that what's at stake here is the clean air, clean water, environmental safety for our children, right? And I think that we also have to make sure that we're inserting the health aspect into this in the healthcare debate. The distrust of the government, I think, is something that us as advocates really have to sort of step our game up in a higher level and sort of dispel some of these myths and rumors and essentially talk about the good work that the White House is doing. I'm so honored to be here and hear about some of the programs that the White House is going to be rolling out the idea of being able to rate existing houses and not new construction on their energy efficiency, I think is a wonderful thing, because then that's an educational opportunity that allows us to work with the community on the ground level, at the grassroots, to talk about the importance of weatherization in an economic way, in a way that saves our families money. I think that a lot of the arguments need to be based on the economy. Why is it important to change spending habits? Why is it important to use energy efficient products that may cost more on the front end, but the savings is there, in the back end? I think that, again, we need to do a better job of that. And to that end, the NLCCC has done a series of regional briefings on climate change. We did our most current one in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the late summer, where we had grassroots leaders, we had grassroots community folks there, we had a couple of members of Congress, and we attacked the problem from a regional perspective. What are the opportunities for the green economy in the Southwest, right? What are the barriers? And we're holding these regional briefings across the country to, one, educate our community about the things that we're talking about today, about the need to change behaviors, the need to do the retrofitting, the weatherization, but also the job opportunities. We want to, LCLAA's vision is not just to move Latinos into the workforce where it's for weatherization. We want to move Latinos into professional jobs that are permanent, sustainable jobs, so that our community can build skills that are going to be necessary to be competitive. But we also know that the building and construction trades angle is very important as a pipeline into this new economy. And LCLAA, as a labor organization, has a unique role to play in the fact that we work with all the labor unions, all the building and construction trades, and we need to help our community navigate into the pipelines of these apprenticeship programs, so we're getting good paying jobs and building the skills that we need to move our community forward. So the work that we've talked about is the regional briefings that we've done. The NLCCC is engaging with community partners along the way. We've had some exciting meetings with the Sierra Club. We've had exciting meetings with other partners where we're trying to look at how we launch sort of national educational campaigns. Aside from the regional briefings are sort of the first step that we're doing, we have another one coming up in November in North Carolina, because we want to go to sort of emerging communities where maybe the educational attainment is a little bit lower, but the need for this information is that much greater. So, aside from just this work we're doing, we're partnering with other government agencies to find new avenues to engage young Latinos on the importance for the quality of life, using the park system, using sort of spending time in these wonderful outdoor settings so they get an understanding of the importance of these clean spaces. And ultimately, we know when we're working with the youth, the idea is to create lifestyle changes, but then also bring that discussion into the household, into the families, so they can talk about the cultural and social changes needed, the behavioral changes to sort of create sustainable futures, right? And, I think from the EPA taking the lead on this, working with us, I think it's critical that we continue this partnership and this conversation. And I think that all of us as sort of community leaders and professionals in this space have a real responsibility to connect with our networks on the ground. I mean, having these esoteric conversations are incredible, and having these briefings is incredibly important, but we actually have to get the message and this information in the homes, right? And all of us as leaders have that responsibility to work through our networks to take this wonderful information from the White House and from the EPA and the work that the other folks here at the table are going to be talking about. It's our responsibility to get this information down there. So with that, I just want to again thank the EPA for this opportunity, and please visit LCLAA.org and also the National Latino Coalition on Climate Change. We have a Facebook group and a website as well, and we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.